Hey, hi, Joel. How are you?
I am doing fine.
Great. I'm gonna change my background. That's why I got off camera 1 second.
Okay,
Great. Looking good.
thank you.
Okay. All right. Now I'm Techsoup. All right. TJ, welcome. Hi, Lee. Welcome, Jane. I saw you guys were on camera. I love when you come on camera during the ED chat, so make sure you do come on camera so we can capture your beautiful faces. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Good. Is this your first time at ED Chat?
Yep.
Yay! How'd you find out about it?
I think I got a message from TechSoup.
Okay, so you joined TechSoup. You're a member of TechSoup now?
Yep.
Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. Well, you will not be alone today. I appreciate. Where are you at? What city and state?
I'm in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. So it's cold there, right?
We're getting snow today, so we're at like 36 right now.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. I've never been to Wisconsin, so we got to stay in touch.
Okay.
Awesome. Hi, Lee and James, and we got Jackson County Public Library. I hope you're going to come to the Microsoft webinar for libraries. Great to see you guys. We will start right on time. You have time to grab your water, grab your pen and paper because you're going to need it today. Um, and your cell phone too, because I'm noticing that you all are sharing information and sharing contact in the chat room, and sometimes you can't um, copy the chat, so it's good to take a screenshot of it so you can keep in contact with that person. All right, I am going to just go off for a minute and just, how's my sound? My sound is good?
Yes.
Okay, great. It's not too loud because I had to turn it up for the people the other day. Perfect. Okay.
No.
Good. Joel, you sound great as well.
Thank you.
Channel path. Yeah, I have to go get my other device, so I will be back, my friends. Welcome everybody to Executive Directors Chat, ED Chat. As you're coming in, let us know where you're from in the chat room. Say hello. Feel free to put the name of your nonprofit organization. We always like to know what you do and who you help. So feel free to do that. And you never know who is in your city that you can connect to. I found that there's always some synergy in the room. So type in where you are. I'm Aretha Simons. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I'm the webinar producer here at Techsoup. So let us know where you're coming from. I see everybody is logging on. Fantastic. Welcome. Hello, Eric. Maine SPCA of Hancock County. Thank you so much for what you do for our animals. Appreciate it. Hi again, TJ from Wisconsin. Community Table, a soup kitchen that rarely serves soups. How great is that? I love that. I definitely want to hear more about that as we get into the conversation today. Willow Eaton, Key, Pennsylvania Community Service, beautiful Western Washington. A food bank, senior meal program, and a senior citizen. I love that. Thank you for what you do. Carol from New York, overcoming barriers, serving families in conflict. Wow, that's awesome. Hey, Sabrina from Deployed Love. Welcome again. Seeing a lot of new faces today. I love it. I love it. I love it. Everybody who is new, I probably need to do just a special webinar for you to get familiar with TechSoup and all that it offers. So definitely want to put that on my calendar. Hi, Joe. DC Veterans IT Training Academy. Yay! I'm a veteran myself, 20 years, the U.S. Navy. Lisa in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, watersheds of South Pittsburgh, advocating for clean, healthy streams and greener communities. Thank you. Much needed all over the world. Awesome. Look at all these faces. I love it. I love it. Come on in. Come on in. We got about 3 minutes. You actually can take this Zoom link and pop it into your Facebook real quick and share it with a friend, with someone you know who's a nonprofit that needs to be in the room. Dr. Affy, I love, hey, you put your website in there. That's even better. Carol's Thrift Stores. Ooh, I want to hear about that, how you leverage your thrift stores to help your nonprofit. Because, see, a lot of nonprofits are not thinking of themselves as social enterprises. Some of them just say, we're a charity, we just want to do good, we just want to help people. But you've got to bring in some income. So love to hear about that as we move forward. Hey, Gail, I'm so glad you were able to join us.
Yeah, no, glad to be here, Aretha. Thank you so much for making sure I'm aware of all this stuff. So happy to see. For those of you that don't know me, I am TechSoup's Chief Business Development Officer. So if you've ever benefited from one of our partner programs on the website, gotten something from, take your choice of the tech leaders that we partner with, I have the pleasure of building those relationships. So I'm just going to be here hanging out. If there's any questions, Aretha, if there's anything you need from me, I'm going to put myself on mute, but you just holler how I can help, okay?
Thank you so much, Gail. I love it when you're here because you always bring insight that sometimes I don't even know about. So I appreciate it. All right, Dr. Mary, I do some part-time volunteer there. Okay, fantastic. And Helen from Alaska Humanities Forum. Good morning to everybody. Donna in Atlanta. Atlanta Star Search and Rescue. Love it. All right, we got about another minute. Oh, Dr. Mary, you own a mental health organization. Fantastic. Everybody needs that. Yep. Awesome. And Gail put her contact information there. Fantastic. Good. I see we've got a few more people joining us. Feel free to type in where you're from and what you do. And if you want to go ahead and share your information, do that as well. And never know how much synergy there is in the room, who you can connect to. I don't know if you got a chance to watch our grant writing solo webinar yesterday. Who was in the webinar yesterday? We had over 2,000 people register for that, and 1,000 people check in. Great, Eric, you was great. So you saw, yeah, and Jeannie, Fit Kelly, great. I'm glad to see that a lot of you were on. We'll be sending that email out yesterday. We made it through, right? We made it through, and it was a lot of great information. But I'm going to be telling you about an announcement in a minute. What was it? It was grant seeking solo, award-winning grants with limited staff. That was the name of it. It's on our TechSoup YouTube channel, but everybody who registered will get the recording via email. Feedback was the best part. Eric, I get it. Yeah, Jeremy, he came in and he really made a big difference. Okay, no, the recording was not sent out. It takes a couple of days. There's a lot of production that goes into this. So yeah, just bear with us. You may get it this afternoon. Joseph Gainesville, peer support, welcome. I'm gonna get ready to share my screen and then we'll get started. All right, are you able to see my screen that says Executive Directors, Grant Management Tools? Give me a thumbs up, somebody, because I can't see everybody. Great, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Executive Directors Chat. We call this ED Chat. I hope you are ready to take notes and ask questions and again, share with each other in the chat room. Today, our topic is going to be about grant management tools. See, managing grants requires tracking your results, monitoring expenditures, and preparing reports for funders, right? So in this Zoom meeting, we're going to have executive directors share how they use CRM, their management tools, and just some other tips that they use to help with bringing in donations and increasing their fundraising goal. I am Aretha Simons. I'm the webinar producer here at TechSoup. This is being recorded, so you can take notes, but you'll get this recording within 48 hours and all the contact information and other things that come along with this. You'll get this recording. You'll be able to watch this on YouTube as well. When you go to our YouTube channel, please hit like, and I would greatly appreciate that. So for those of you, this is your first time here on a TechSoup webinar or ED Chat, I want to show you how you can engage today. We ask that everybody please stay on mute to help with the quality of the recording. If you would like to respond, use the raise your hand option right at the bottom of your screen, and I'll acknowledge you when you do come on. If you would unmute yourself, state your name, where you're from. Also, if you can leave your comments and questions to about a minute or two so that everybody will have a chance to speak, that would be great. I know sometimes we get passionate about this. So today I am going to ask you if you hear of any aha moments. Again, make sure you are muted. If you hear of any aha moments, let me mute this person. Sorry. See, this happens when you're doing live. And just imagine yesterday there was like 1,000 people there. So that's the role of a webinar producer. I love it. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So if you hear of anything that is an aha moment today, share it and then tag us on TechSoup. I would love for one of you or 5 of you or 3 of you to be a featured speaker here on ED Chat, because I know you all wear multiple hats and we want to learn from your experience and also help you share your expertise. Please email me at asimons@TechSoup if you would like to be a featured speaker, and it must be a topic related to something in the nonprofit sector, obviously. If you're having a conference, an event, and you would like TechSoup to come and talk about some of the TechSoup offers that we have, because we know that not every nonprofit knows about TechSoup, invite us. Send an email to Stephen Jackson at sjackson@techsoup.org, or you can email me at asimons@techsoup.org. So we're going to have a survey at the end of this that pop up on your screen. Please fill out the survey. I want to make one quick announcement before I turn it over to our guest speaker. I mentioned before we started this that GrantStation is having their $99 special. It happens twice a year at TechSoup. and it's only 2 days. So I want you to put an alarm on your phone if you don't have access to GrantStation, because today we're discussing grant management tools, but I want to make sure you have access to find these grants. So our partner at GrantStation, this price is normally $199. For members of TechSoup, it's $169. But again, 2 days, they're going to have a sale here at TechSoup where it's going to be $99 for the year's annual fee. I'll put a link in there a little later. So enough about all of the housekeeping and all of the little information. I want to invite Joel Ramjohn. I'm so excited that not only Joel is going to share his knowledge, but I know Joel because we live in the same city, and I've been able to glean from all the things that he has done in this city. He is the founder of Orlando Welcome and Agape Source. Joel wears multiple hats, just like a lot of you: executive director, president. He has over 18 years in the nonprofit technology sector, working with Salesforce, business management, and as a nonprofit consultant. That's just a few highlights about Joel, but he's going to tell you more. I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome, Joel, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Aretha. Hey, everyone. Good morning. Well, actually, good afternoon. Sorry. Morning for some of you, I suspect. And I just want to thank TechSoup really for having this. TechSoup has been the backbone of our organization since inception. It is such a unique gift to all of us, no matter whether you're now starting out or you have been a nonprofit for decades. And as you know, with technology advances every 6 months. And so it feels at times like we can't keep up. We're investing in systems and that system becomes outdated. And so one of the strategies that I like to employ, whether you are now starting out or you have been in the industry, is every few years, whether it's 3 to 5 years, you are looking at the technologies that you have. And you are trying to make sure that you're scaling up, that you do not get yourself into a place where you end up outgrowing the current technology that you use. And so having a tremendous platform like TechSoup, where we can literally shop and see, all right, let's see what's new. Let's see what is being offered so that you can continue to scale. In terms of grant writing, GrantStation has been a huge tool, and it's great that it's being offered on sale right now. I highly recommend it. It's if you're getting into the grant writing world, you're going in blind unless you employ a tool like GrantStation. It allows you to go in and really drill down the different grants that are out there that will uniquely fit your organization, because we have limited time. And so to be able to drill down and look at the grants that fit the scope of your vision, and then tailor your or target those grants. And what I love with GrantStation is you're able to actually put in the work for one, but you're putting in the work for a few different grant offers. And so we employ a tool in-house called Monday.com. Monday actually verifies your organization through TechSoup. You also have Asana, which is another one. And these tools bring your entire team together. You normally would have, if it's one person or a team working on grants, sometimes you might need something from accounting, or you might need something from your dev director. You might need something from your board. And so having everyone on a platform where you're able to collaborate and throw out tasks, you're able to move your grants along rather than having it bottleneck, waiting on other people to contribute, or you end up having to push the grant out prematurely, and that is never a good idea. I mean, sometimes it works, but it really is never a good idea to do that. And so looking at TechSoup, looking at the different technologies that they offer, something like Asana for your organization in grant writing is going to be a huge boost. It is highly affordable for small organizations. You can roll that cost into your budget for the year. I highly recommend investing in systems. We were able to take our small nonprofit from an initial investment of $1,000 to within 5 years, bringing in close to 1.5 million. And the reason we got to that place was primarily due to systems, especially when you have a team of 3 to 5 people working on many projects. So I know this time is going to be a time of, asking questions and keeping this flow dynamic. And so I want to be able to answer questions as I go along, especially in regards to what technologies are available out there. Technology is different technologies that are out there. That's my strong suit. It's what I strongly believe in. We utilize Salesforce in-house, and so we run the gamut in regards to the amount of technologies we're using in order for us to be able to effectively get our grant writing, our grants out. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm looking in the chat. So the management of grant finances, I actually have a trick that we use. I hire an outside bookkeeping company called Bench. We have a finance director that is managing our finances, but we employ Bench to do our bookkeeping, and Bench does bookkeeping for nonprofits as well. It's roughly for us $300 a month, but what we get in turn is deep accounting as far as Bench goes beyond the bookkeeping aspect, and they run all levels of metrics for us. And so I'm able to communicate with one of our different partners over there, and they're able to, our account manager, and they're able to give me the metrics I need right away to be able to put that into our grants.
Okay, someone asked about Asana, and I know Asana is one of our partners, but I would love to hear from one of the EDs who is using Asana. Would you like to share your experience? Use the raise your hand option, or you can feel free to unmute yourself. And while you're getting ready to do that, Jennifer is asking about grant reporting. What kind of grant reporting do you do? I'm sure the 990, but what else? Jennifer, can you unmute yourself and ask him specifically, what do you mean by grant reporting? Jennifer Raymond. Okay, if you're speaking, you're on mute, Jennifer. Okay, while we're waiting for Jennifer to unmute herself, Laura asks, what project management tool do you prefer? Does Techsoup have Wrike? We do have Wrike. What was the benefit of Asana over Twilio? So is anybody using Asana or Twilio? I mean, Joel, feel free to jump in.
We've drilled down to Monday primarily because of the integrations and being able to have automations. We looked at the different tools. Asana and Twilio are brilliant platforms, but what matters most is when you're looking at these systems, you have to make sure that you find one that fits your organization. We also use Zapier, and Zapier is a technology that sits in the middle of different systems to be able to pass data between these systems. And so I'm able to push a lot. I use Google Sheets a lot, to collect my data. And then through Google Sheets using Zapier, I'm able to push it immediately into Salesforce or Monday or some of the other tools that we're using in-house. And so you want to be able to do your research. Definitely connect with people. I've done a lot of research on some of these different tools. If you want to connect with me after this, I'd be more than happy to go over some of the different tools with you, because it's important to look at what you're using currently, and what your needs are for the future, because you want to also be able to scale.
Thank you for that. Go ahead and put your information in the chat room, Joel. Erin said that she used Asana in the past. Right now she's having audio problems, so she really can't join. I love that everybody's putting their CRMs that they use in the chat room. Jennifer, I saw you unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get back on the screen, but I'm back now. And what I'm wondering is if GrantStation is appropriate for gathering the data that I need for my grant reporting, or if there's a better way to do that.
When you say gathering the data you need to use, so GrantStation has a list of funders where you would go and find out what the requirements are for you to apply for grants. But when you say gathering the data,
Okay.
give me an example.
When I've received a grant, I run a spay-neuter program. And so if I get, for example, a grant to spay and neuter feral cats, I need to report how many cats we spayed and neutered, how many were female, how many were male, how many were pregnant. And then of course the costs for those, the financial reporting. And I do it now basically using Excel spreadsheets. I'm just wondering if there's any more streamlined way to do it, because it's very time consuming.
Yeah, go ahead, Joel.
You do have some streamlined options that you can use. For example, you want to have a system where the moment you enter that information, that user is coming in and they're asking, hey, I need to have this cat spaded, and they're putting in the data, that first entry point, it should push into your other systems. If you had Salesforce, for example, Salesforce gives nonprofit organizations 10 free user licenses, and you can build out your you could build out an entire app within Salesforce that's tailored to your org, and then you'll use that data when you're doing your 990 reporting. I don't know if you hire an accountant to do your 990, or if you are like many other small nonprofits and use Express Tax Exempt, for example, in conjunction with other assistants.
Hello, Aretha.
Yes.
You can hear me. This is Joe Serrano with Tent Makers here in Richmond, California.
Hi.
I have a question. Well, actually, I want to share an experience. We're talking about tools, and I just want to give you some props with Techsoup, because I didn't know the full potential I was missing out on for all this whole time. I had been aware of Techsoup, and just recently, as a result of a grant that we received, Techsoup was really the game changer for us, just because when it came time for reporting our grant results and doing all the accounting and the bookkeeping, well, I'm not an accountant, not a bookkeeper, but I know enough to have to hire somebody to help me figure that stuff out. So as a result of Techsoup, I was able to subscribe to QuickBooks Online for a very, very reasonable price. And I was able to connect with a bookkeeper who really was outstanding in helping me to understand going from desktop, QuickBooks Pro desktop, to online, because it's kind of two different things. Mm-hmm. But my bookkeeper who I connected with worked with me very closely. We had Zoom meetings. I was able to send accountants copy from the desktop pro version of our bookkeeping, and she was able to help me unscramble everything that I had scrambled, including the bacon. And she also was able to put me in touch with a CPA. So, as a result of our grant, and this is something that I would like to share also with new nonprofits, who are trying to get grants and trying to establish their capacity for grant administration. And that would be to hook up with other organizations that are looking for fiscal sponsors, right? That'll get your wheels greased. It'll get you acclimated to the actual accounting and bookkeeping functions of a nonprofit. And by the way, our nonprofit is a community housing development corporation, and we help low to moderate income households with housing. So bottom line is that Techsoup is a great resource for finding tools like QuickBooks Online and lots of other tools that will help you to manage your grants and to report on your grants, especially when it comes to filing taxes and having great financial statements so that you can start building your financial capacity.
That was great. Thank you so much for that, Joe. And I hope you guys picked up a lot of little tips he put out there. Joel, I want to go back up to the comment that Laura made, because not everybody understands what a CRM, customer relations management system, is for. She wanted to know, is there a difference between customer relations management and project management?
Yeah, there's a huge difference, and that's why you need different systems. We in-house, for examples, with our donors, we use Donor Perfect, right? All of our donors and fundraising goes through Donor Perfect, which is offered through Techsoup, and it's a phenomenal platform that has streamlined a lot of things for us. And that allows our fundraising department to focus on our donors that are giving, whether it is you have fundraisers that you can do auctions in the whole 9 yards within Donor Perfect. But then for those that we serve, the constituents that we care for, we're using a CRM that is separate because it's a totally different department. And that is where we use Salesforce. And within that, we can care for them.
Seven,
And
but it said it was snowing, but I don't see any snow.
Okay, Sandra, I'm
and
going to
then
mute you.
separately from Salesforce for our in-house, all of our departments just talking together, bringing together our programs departments with our operations, with fundraising, and our board. We're using Monday, and that is our project management. And so all of the projects that we're working on, that I'm able to see what we're working towards for the whole year, what we're planning, the vision dinner that we have for next year. When you employ a project management system, it transforms your organization. Prior to having a project management system, for example, our vision dinners, we were barely breaking even on our annual vision dinners. And since employing a project management system where we're seeing who we're talking to and how we're managing our corporate sponsors, we have already exceeded our goal for our upcoming dinner in March. And we've raised past it, and we still have people saying, hey, as a matter of fact, we've had to turn off our selling seats because the entire thing is paid for, including our annual fundraising goal. And that is 100% attributed to bringing in a project management system where all departments are able to talk together and share internally. So that's an internal system, whereas the program, the CRM, is outward facing. That is who we're helping and how we're maintaining those relationships with those that we're serving.
That was great. Thanks for sharing that. I would like to ask if you all, there's a lot of questions in the chat room, if you would use the raise your hand option. That way we know who's coming up next. But Michael, since you're unmuted, you can go ahead and speak. But again, please keep your microphones on mute because you pop up on the screen in front of the speakers. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Michael. And then we'll
Joel,
go to
nice
Allison.
to meet you, and I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm Michael Craig with the CDREP Sick Kids Foundation in Atlanta, Georgia. We provide funds for family with sick kids who have exhausted insurance and other financial resources and basically just can't meet the cost of out-of-pocket expenses or any expenses or non-covered medical care. It's interesting that you're not getting the information you need from Donor Perfect to see if you're breaking even. We use Network for Good, and we do have Salesforce also. We are a highly technical organization, but we're able to see from our fundraising platform, Network for Good, which is internal for fundraising, volunteer, and so forth, to see if we can break even. So you made that statement, and if you could see me, I kind of look swiftly at you because you're using 4 tools: Monday, Salesforce, Donor Perfect, 3 tools, and it kind of like, why aren't you not getting that information from Donor Perfect? Any insights?
Yeah, and I think you misunderstood me, or I misspoke. With Donor Perfect, we are getting all the numbers that we need. What I was referring to in regards to explaining what a project management system is that a project management system allows people to talk internally, your different departments, and to create every project that we have. For example, I have my grant writers. They all have their projects within that, and they're following up on their tasks. They're able to have all of that data in one place. It's two totally different worlds. With our fundraising, with our donors, the metrics within Donor Perfect, those are completely different systems. But the reason why we have different systems is it's just different departments. If you look at it in the context of your IRS 990, you have, I'm not going to have my operations using a system that's geared for our finance department. It's a totally different system. They use QuickBooks, and that is the system that they use. So for each department area, they have their own system that does not cross in with others, that they run and they manage. And that allows them to work effectively and more efficiently than trying to employ one system that will try to do everything for everyone. We tried that, and it just does not work, trying to create a machine like that.
So in other words, there's levels to this.
Yes.
So Alexandrina, I hope I said that name right. Go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm driving, so it's a little bit difficult.
Okay.
My organization, we've been around a long time. We've used Techsoup for a long time. It's Chico Awali African Dance, Arts, and Culture. I'm a volunteer, have been for the 20 years that we've been in existence. It's my give back to the community. All of the different tools that you've mentioned since I've come on, it seems like a lot because I'm the main person that does everything. So does it make sense to have all of these different systems? Donor Perfect, and was it Workforce? I mean, it seems like an awful lot if you're one person.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Like I said, you have to be able to scale, and each organization is completely different. And so if you are a small organization and you're able to do everything within one system, that's what you invest in. Otherwise, you're all over the place. And so that's why every organization needs to look at the systems they're using every 2 to 3 years to be able to make sure that you're not going to end up with a bottleneck when it comes to the system that you have, and you could effectively plan. I often go into Techsoup to see what's new, to see what is what is now available, what it can do, and if at the end of the day there is something that is being offered that will take bridge two systems together, then that's a great thing to work toward. But you never want to have too many systems if you're just one person.
Great. Thank you so much. Great question. And thank you for the answer, Joel. Samantha, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Hello, thank you. This is Samantha from the SPCA of Hancock County. And thank you guys so much for this. And so question going back about the Monday.com, just some clarification. So is that you said it was a partner organization. So would that be part of the $99 membership with TechSoup? And if not, what would that price point add, and like what kind of features does it offer? Very intrigued by that.
The $99 sale that's going to be February 15th to 16th, that's for Grant Station. That's for having access to the grant database. I'm going to look for the link in a moment. Gail might get to it before I do, for Monday.com, so you can see what that is all about.
Yeah, and Monday.com, just like Asana, does have a deep discount for nonprofits that have a secular designation. And that's important to know, because we may have on here religious nonprofits that do not qualify. And so one of the things that you can look to is, if you do have a religious nonprofit that does work within the that whose main focus really is like my nonprofit, we help everyone and anyone. And so we have a secular designation, and you would need a separate EIN for that, and that will allow you to qualify for that discount. There are a few programs within TechSoup that that you will need to have something like that in order to qualify for.
Awesome. Jean, you feel free to unmute yourself.
This, but I especially want to thank you for recording it, because I teach school and we are frozen right now. We have no water, so that's why I can call in. So I usually listen to them afterwards, and it's nice to be part of the discussion. We are a small native nonprofit in northern Alaska, started youth-founded, youth-directed, youth-run. And my question is, well, and this goes out to other small nonprofits. We are very small, but we've actually taken in more money in the past couple of years. We never were over 50,000, and last year we took in over 200,000. We have some absolutely fantastic funders that really we have a good relationship with. But right now, we're doing an executive director search. We're searching for one more board member. The city gave us a 10-year, $1 for 10 years lease on a building, which we've got some funding for. Yeah, we've been roaming around this little town forever, since 2014 without a home. So we got some funding for the renovation. We are looking for more, but I guess my question is, and we don't have a CRM. I did learn about that. We access Taproot. Oh my goodness. We were able to get QuickBooks also through TechSoup and connect with a Taproot accountant to set it all up for us, and we're still in contact because I never used it before. But I don't know what we need first. I know that I am totally overwhelmed. It's basically myself. I volunteered up until September, and then the board started paying me. I don't know what to do next. I'm good with grants, but we apply to ANA, and if you're familiar with them, those are overwhelming grants. But good grants. So I guess my question is, what's the priority? We do have Grant Station, but I'm waiting to renew next week. Really appreciate that. You know, and I get confused because I hear about CRM, and we do use Network for Good. We get for fundraisers on Facebook, we get checks from them. There's so many out there, and it's very confusing. I agree with the speaker that just said that. So I'm glad to see there's someone on here from Homer. And that's my question, I guess, is it's so hard to know what's the priority that we need for a system, and, you know, what's the hierarchy?
Yeah, this is a problem that many nonprofits have. Being able to understand the technology that's out there and understand your needs. And just like in anything, if you're meeting with a grant writer, if you're meeting with an accountant, a lot of times they're going to ask you questions about your organization and about who you serve and where you're headed. And so I strongly recommend reaching out to someone in the technology sector to actually just sit with them. If you need help, you could always message me. I'll be more than happy, after this to help just guide you in where you're at just privately. But this is something that I feel like we need more people in this space, with TechSoup. It's phenomenal having the technology, but then understanding what do I need is usually the other question, because there's so many choices out there.
Thank you. Adrian, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
I don't have a question necessarily, but I just wanted to add, because I'm a small nonprofit in the mental health space of leader of one. So I just want to help in saying that you really want to make sure when you're talking about technology, things like I have a technology background, so I was like ahead of the game, but you really want to make sure that you have the capacity, the bandwidth to take on so many CRMs or tools that you're going to be using. So for example, if you don't have the person, like say Salesforce, who can help you manage that or admin that, that's going to be very difficult unless you have volunteers that's going to help you and that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that you have the tools that you're going to be using, that you also understand what the tools are, and that you have the capacity or the assets to help you manage them. Those are key.
Yeah,
Just want to give you a
great.
little tip on that.
Yeah, great advice. Great advice. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, that is absolutely right on. For my organization, the reason why I have so many is because I have a staff that, a large enough staff where everyone is in their own departments using that. If I'm the only one, or it's three of us, it would be overwhelming to have that many systems. I am a Salesforce developer, and so I've developed, Salesforce and our app personally for our organization. Now, Salesforce has a phenomenal network of volunteers that you can actually reach out to Salesforce and share about your organization, and they encourage their developers, their technicians to donate their time to help organizations with getting set up. So once you get your app built and set up, you really don't need any future development on it other than how to use it, until you've reached a place where, okay, you've scaled up so much that now it's not doing enough for you and you may need future development. Then you could reach out again to have someone step in to help you with it.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. And I want you guys to keep in mind that Joel started small, just like some of you. So keep that in mind. Sharetta, how are you? You can go ahead and unmute yourself, Sharetta.
Hello, hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Great, great, great. So my question is for I say small nonprofit, a team of 1, 2, maybe 3, all part-time. And I know you say it's not a cookie cutter situation, but is there a program that you would suggest for, like, I'm just starting out, we're all part-time, but we need a space to be able to kind of collaborate or share information on different various projects?
If you're just starting out, I would immediately just recommend utilizing Google or Microsoft. Microsoft Teams, for example, is free if you get set up through TechSoup. Teams is very powerful, and you're able to have all of the different groups where you can collaborate, share data. It is actually a great low-cost project management tool that you could use to manage projects all within the Teams platform. That is something that if you'd like a demo of, I could always give a demo to you. Just reach out to me. But Teams is a great free, low-cost solution. And then you get the benefit of having Microsoft Word Office, as part of your platform as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know I got a couple of direct emails or in the chat. Please email me at asimons@techsoup.org because I would love to talk with you separately. Thank you, Sharetta, for your question. Paige, how are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Aretha, thank you. Yeah, so my question is about how to find contractors and help without being completely overwhelmed with, like these international, whatever, more focused. I'm not an employer. I don't know how to do background checks or interviews or any of that business. And I need like good people to come and do contract jobs. Like immediately, I need somebody to write press releases, for example, that could potentially lead into other work in communications.
This is a little secret side tip that I'm going to give you, but never, ever, ever feel ashamed to use a service like Fiverr. It is on TechSoup. They have a discounted program, but many times I need something on the fly. I need, whether it's a document or it is a quick artwork that needs to be done quickly and low cost. And my team is just bottlenecked with work. I go straight on Fiverr and I get a lot of small projects done through it. It is an amazing tool and low cost asset to have. And many of them are internationals, but they do phenomenal work. And so you can look at who is doing the work, what if it fits the scope of your project, and you can hire them right there and have it within 24 to 48 hours.
Well, I just want to say I did try Fiverr when I was first starting out for my my logo and that sort of thing, and I was very disappointed. I'm willing to pay somebody good money. I have the money available to pay them, so that's what I'm kind of getting at. Is I want to narrow down the quality field. That's what I'm trying to say.
In that case, I would recommend looking into an internship program. That's usually a great opportunity. Reach out to some of the local art colleges and let them know who you are. Go and meet with their admissions or guidance department and introduce yourself, and that you are looking to have some internships for students that are graduating and need some experience. And that would bring them in-house and can potentially, we have one intern that actually transitioned to becoming the executive assistant for our organization. And so you'd be surprised the level of talent that you can get through just setting up internships.
Awesome. That was a good one. Hi, Mr. Waters. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
So first of all, Joel, how are you doing?
Doing good.
I want to carry you back a little bit. So let's go back to when it was just 3 people in your organization. Now, I know that's been like light years ago for you, but 3 years, when it was just you, yourself, and maybe your shadow. Let's start from the very beginning. What were the core systems that you put in place? Because what I've heard you talk about is CRM. I'm in the technology space, data scientist, very familiar with where you are. The challenge isn't the systems. The challenge is growing the organization, understanding the mission, vision, and values, outlaying that to potential sponsors, and then bringing all that information back and having it to make sense for folks who are joining you. What did you start with and how did you grow it?
So one of the key things I started with was, to be honest, having a board of 3 and not a large board where you can't get anything done. We literally started with a board of 3 like-minded people that owned the vision. And as a Salesforce developer, I was able to immediately develop an app for what I was doing. And that helped to have all of my data in one place, to be able, if I'm meeting with a new sponsor or a new corporate donor, I was able to pull up that information on my smartphone. I'm horrible with names. And so I'm walking into that meeting and I have their data, I have their picture right on my smartphone. And so, and then employing, we used Microsoft back then to be able to manage all of our documents. And so you do not need to have major systems in place at all. What you need to do is scale right. Do not go over your head, just get the systems that you need, that, but have a 5-year plan of the systems you want to grow to. And so a lot of times you're meeting with people, they're telling you about great systems. You begin to write that down and you keep that information and that research, because you know that in year 2, year 3, year 4, you may be able to scale into that. And so at year 1, I was already thinking about year 5 of where I'm going and where I want to be. I'm already thinking year 10, even though we're at year 7, where I want to be and where I want to go. And so by having a proper vision and looking at the technologies that are out there, that's what you want to share. A lot of times you run into a donor that says, give me a project. I don't want to give money at all to your salaries. I don't want to give money to, so you create a wish list of all of the technologies that you want to have, especially when you're writing grants. Having a wish list so that when you are writing a grant, you're actually looking at your wish list saying, here are some of the systems. In your grant, you're really sharing the vision of where you want to be and why you need that grant. And so that is what I put into my grants. And that is what I put in to, I have on my desk where I want to be and what are the systems. So when I have a donor that says, give me a project, I literally tell them this is a system that we needed to help us scale. We're already bottlenecking. This is the cost of it. And I do not have to pay for that system. That donor writes the check to cover the cost of that system.
Thank you. I think that's a whole another workshop all in itself. That was a great question. That was an excellent question. Thank you so much. Mr. Elps, how are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm excited. And I think this goes a little bit to Mr. Waters' question also, because I've been in technology as long as there's been technology, really, about 50 years now. And one of the things that I would say, well, to start is, and I know everybody in this room is very busy, but one of the things you have to do is make time to think about this. And one of the things that I think, if we look at Joel, he's taken time and he's planned out something. Most of us, we're kind of in react mode.
Yeah.
So I really encourage each of you to like set aside an hour every week to really just play with your toys. I think one of the problems is we may have the tool we need, but we only know how to use it one way. We haven't taken time to explore all of the potential of the technology that we even have, much less start to look at new technologies you want. So I really, I hope everybody hears this, you have to take some time to enjoy what you're doing, to think about what those tools are. And then my second piece of advice was just be willing to take a course and learn more about CRM or whatever. And if you can't take a course, just go to YouTube and spend part of that hour just looking at videos that people have put up about it. Again, it's just the more you know, the better this whole thing will go. And I just think sometimes we don't invest that extra time in our own development. And so, especially as Joel knows, technology changes so fast. There's new tools, there's new, what is agile and why do I need that? What's going on in Microsoft Project? I taught for 19 years, I taught technology at UCR Extension College. And I gotta say, most of the people come in, they know maybe 10 or 20% of the capability of the tools that they have. They just don't even know that things are there. I was watching somebody copy and paste something the other day while I was on a Zoom meeting with them. And I was like, you could just like a shortcut do Control-C, right? And they were like, no, I never knew that. So I'm going for 5 steps to do what I could do in one keystroke. And so taking time to really not, because these are great tools, but if you're not using them properly, if it's like everything is a nail and you got a hammer, then you're not going to get the most out of them. And then the last piece, I think, is really feel free to ask others what they're doing. I think one of the great things about this forum, and the reason I keep plugging into this forum, is you got like 165 people on right now that you could ask for help. So invite somebody to coffee, just like this, and take like 15 minutes, 20 minutes and say, I'm working on something. What do you do when you hit this? You might get an answer that will really help you. And I think we don't take enough advantage of the strength of the skills and experience that we have in a forum like this. So I just want to support. Yeah, I think, I've been on both sides. I worked in a giant deep, back when it was called Data Processing Center. And so for those of you who remember the words data processing, but also it's me now, I am the operations department for my company. And I'm using Salesforce, Joel, and I'm going crazy, but I'm determined I'm going to beat it. But on the other side of the world, I got to put time into it. And I think I don't want us to leave these meetings thinking it's just going to happen. It's going to have to be intentional investment of time and of, reaching out and take advantage of this network. So that's all I wanted to say today. Sorry, Aretha.
Oh no, that was a
John, that
mic
was
drop
great.
moment. Yes.
And-
Look, say thank you to John because he just gave you some keys. Go ahead, Joel.
John, it's funny because I have a note here that I wrote down for today, and I think you really segued into that. Many of us here might be sitting where in our organization there's just a lot of chaos, and we're trying to just manage chaos over and over and over, and chaos happens when the complexity of our organizations outpace our competency. And that's not a knock on us. Just things when our organization begins to grow and it becomes more complex, and you're still with the same people, and you're like, man, this is now the complexity of that organization has outpaced the competency that you have. You're bringing in all of these new systems, and it's overwhelming. One of the things I did for my staff is I invested in every staff. They all have LinkedIn learning as just part of one of the things we offer to them, because I want my staff to stay on top of the systems that we're using and to even branch out and to look for new things. So they have full access that we cover to a tremendous tool like LinkedIn Learning. And I want to advise you guys, if you can get with your boards and say, hey guys, we need some more money to invest in our staff and to invest in our competency level with these new technologies. I find myself, even though I like John, technology is my background, that's my backbone. From the time I was in middle school, I was coding games, and quite a long time ago, to where I am today, I am still learning, and I still feel like I have to keep up. So do not get to the place where you're like, man, we are good, We do not need, to invest in competency at all. That is where you would begin to sink. You have to stay on top of the curve. And I love that TechSoup offers a lot of different services to help get you trained up in whether it's QuickBooks or reaching out to TechSoup to say, hey, we need to learn some of these systems that you're offering. Can you set up one of these meetings that we can have one of those partners get on to walk us through that platform? It is something that I highly, highly, highly recommend as you're scaling. Keep that line in sight as you scale from year to year, or every 5 years, or every decade. What is that line that you can see where chaos is going to happen? And a lot of organizations, when they hit chaos, that's when you start losing good people. And you don't want to lose good people, because they get overwhelmed, they get burnt out, and so you have to invest in them and investing into their competency.
Thank you so much, Joel. Please put your contact information in the chat room again. I want to thank everybody for being here. I especially want to thank Joel for taking out his time. I'm telling you, I live in the same city as Joel, and this man is extremely busy. The things that he does, I'm telling you, just amazing. And so I really appreciate you volunteering your time to share your knowledge, your expertise, your passion with everybody. Gail Carpentier, the Chief Business Development Officer here at TechSoup, was on this Zoom with us, and you all were conversating with her. Where else do you get this? I mean, Gail, thank you so much. I love it when you're here. Isabel, I see your hand raised. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to make your comment or ask your question. Again, you guys are putting thank yous in the chat room. Gail put her contact in the chat room. I put my contact in the chat room. Joel put his contact in the chat room. You put your contact in the chat room. Go ahead, Isabel.
Hi, I'm currently a junior at Christian Brothers University. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I just started my internship with a company here in Memphis, Tennessee. I just want to know, like, what is the best way that I can give myself, like, the passion to enjoy this internship and become, like, the help that they need?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead, Joel, because we both have things to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to be if you want to really be a blessing in that internship, continue to learn, continue to ask questions, continue to, the best interns are the ones that take initiative, are the ones that don't wait to be told to do, but are the ones that are actually contributing to solutions. Find areas within that organization that you can see, man, this can be better, and contribute, speak up. A lot of times interns feel like you have nothing to contribute, or you feel overwhelmed. Just go for it, because our interns transform our organization.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Joel. Listen, everybody, as you're taking care of the world, make sure you take time to take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next webinar. Bye-bye, everybody.